peace, and love, everybody. It's your girl, Melanie Charles, a.k.a. D-Flower.
And your girl, Yunie Mo, a.k.a. Yunie Mojica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're listening to the Make Jazz Trill Again podcast.
Let's go.
Yeah. How is everyone feeling? I hope you guys are feeling good. We're recording tonight it's Monday the 26th. I think you guys will be hearing this in a few days. It'll be Sunday or Monday for them when they hear it?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
To be in your ears by Sunday, Monday, maybe Friday. I don't know what day it is, but we'll on your time.
We're gonna try. We're on your time. Yunie and I have been reflecting about, the idea of consistency, and we really want to be better about giving you guys consistent episodes. But we are both boss shorties. We both are booked and busy. We both wear multiple hats, and scheduling has been so tricky. But we just want to say sorry to you guys for not being as consistent as you may like. But we are working on it.
Yes, we're trying. We want to be here, and we want to be here for each other and y'all. So that's the name of the game. But sometimes life be lifing, y'all.
Life be lifing. A little vibe check for me. I had the longest day, Yunie. I was just like, when it's just like you got to get everything done on Monday.
Yes.
Because everything over the weekend was compiling. Shout out to any of our listeners if you know how that feels. So today was just like, okay, I have 2 interviews. I have to fill out all this stuff for the bank. I have therapy. Thank God for my therapist today. Because by the time it was time for therapy, I was ready to have a mental break.
True, and they came through for you, huh?
And she came through for me. And then I took a yoga class just before we recorded. And the teacher spoke about the concept of santosha.
What's that?
Which really resonated with me. It's the idea of being content with the moment where you are in the moment and how things are in the moment. Instead of being like, I can't be happy because I know I still have more to learn or more to do. It's the practice of being like, yes, all of that is true. However, I am here. I am in this moment, and I'm grateful for this moment. And child, I needed that because the whole time I was just thinking about my to-do list and the things I have left to do. So, if there are any yogis listening in, I'm sure you can relate. And if you're not a yogi, we encourage you to enter into the lifestyle because it's really a great tool to help cope with, the day-to-day stresses.
I need to be on that time. I just need to be on my exercise time. I've honestly, I'm being transparent. I've definitely fallen off that wagon. But you
look good. But how are you feeling?
Considering I'm feeling pretty regular, I would say.
Like physically with your body, like you're feeling like your usual self.
Oh, I have lower back issues.
Yeah.
But I've been doing specific stretches for that.
Great.
So I guess I have been doing things, but
there's levels.
Levels.
I know.
Level 1.
I know. And Spirit of Santosha, it's good what you've been doing, but there's more. But I've developed this upper back, middle back pain. I think it's triggered from, remember when I had that crazy cough that everybody had?
Oh, yes.
A few weeks ago, and I was just coughing my back out. Like my back was just girl. So I think it kind of threw me out of alignment. But shout out to Skidmore College, Zanko Hall, Make Jazz Chill Again went down to Zanko Hall, over the weekend.
What was that like? I'm sorry I missed it.
We missed you, Yunie. We really missed you.
I missed y'all.
But it was beautiful. It was, it's really more of a classical leaning department, which was really special to have people who may not necessarily consider themselves improvisers to enter into the space and be open to improvising. And it was really beautiful to see the evolution from the beginning of the night to the end of the night of, classical people kind of being like, I don't know, to the end. Everybody was jumping up to play and sing. Yeah.
Where's Skidmore again? I forget.
That's in the Adirondacks, upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a 4-hour drive up. Shout out to Janelle over who's overseeing the department. She reached out to make Trill again. She saw our Trill mega jams and she was like, I want you guys to bring this here.
Fire.
And so we're talking about doing more. So those of you, if anybody's listening that was there that night, thank you so much for being a part of that really special night. At the end of it, I was talking about my back pain and Janelle was like, girl, that's why I started doing some weightlifting to like give me
Oh,
strength. And it just kind of reminded me of like a lot of times exercise isn't only to look good, but it's to
for
strengthen our
your
body so
health.
that so we can like do what we need to
You know who
do.
does lifting? Leslie Vonner
Oh, really? Oh, yes, I
and
saw a video.
and Gabrielle Murphy.
I don't know Gabrielle
Oh, she's a
Murphy.
saxophonist and she does a lot of her and Leslie do a lot of gigs together and
Oh,
if y'all
dope,
don't know the two, they're amazing. Really
dope.
representing for the women and they do a lot of their own gigs and then they also perform with Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Right now they're
yeah.
on they actively work with her at the moment.
Dope, dope.
So
I didn't know about Gabrielle. I'm gonna definitely look into her, but I have been following Leslie's journey with Janelle Monáe, and oh my god, it looks like it's so much fun.
I know, I love it. I love to see the
Mhm,
wins and the glow up.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So I guess we all gonna be working out some more. Next episode, we're gonna be filling each other in about our amazing
I hope I have some
workouts.
progress to deliver, but I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and especially as musicians and artists, it's very easy to focus on practicing, like getting to the gig, like blah blah blah. Squeezing in time for physical exercise is something that I wish my music mentors, talked more about.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe they
Yeah,
weren't actively doing that themselves. At
yeah,
least some
that's
of them,
true.
not all of them, but
Some of them,
some I
I
saw
remember.
actually doing it. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
So you said some you saw actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember I had a teacher at the new school. I'm so embarrassed right now. His name is blanking. He played guitar and he used to teach like improvisation, I want to say, or rhythm or something like that. He would walk everywhere. He didn't he was a walker. Like he like from like Queens to the school or whatever. Like that was his like
That's
exercise.
great.
And everybody would crack jokes on him because they were like, yo, this dude's crazy. But he always had his like running shoes, bro. If anybody remembers his name, please remind us. But yeah, shout out to him for that. But we like to touch on pop culture, social media stuff, whatever's going viral. Um,
The
wh-
story.
did you look it up, Uni?
Yes, I did, and I was gonna. I went to YouTube. I'm not a TikToker, but I'm trying to work on that. But I'm not a TikToker, so I went on YouTube, and there's a YouTube link that has
All of
the
it.
entire thing all at once,
Yeah.
and it's 7 hours long.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you guys are into like the TikTok stuff, I like a little bit of that.
You know, a little mess.
You know. And there's a lady who did a story time series on TikTok called Who the F Did I Marry? Where she talks about her journey in a relationship with a gentleman that was a what's the word she used? A narcissist, but like he was
A
a
con
something
artist.
liar. Well, he was a con artist. He was all the things. He was all those things.
I didn't even get to the juicy
Um,
parts, but
you didn't get to the
you
juicy
gotta,
parts?
you get. We could. Did you see the whole thing?
I saw the whole thing. I saw it when it was happening. So I was following on as she was
Oh, okay.
uploading.
So you can do. I'm gonna need a synopsis because
I mean, I think what I'm really interested in talking about in when it comes to this. I mean, quick synopsis. She met this guy
on the dating apps,
on a dating app. They dated quickly, got married quickly, and soon after getting married, she started realizing that he lied basically about everything in the relationship, from
that
people in his lives. Like apparently he'd
he was
be
having
saying,
fake
"Oh, I'm talking to
conversations.
Day or whatever," but it wasn't really Day on the phone. Like weird stuff like that. Or
He
he
lied
like
about
just
the
made
house that
stories.
they bought.
Well, no, because she bought the
Oh,
house.
she did.
Luckily, she got that house. He moved into her home, but they were trying to
God.
plan on. He lied about like how much money he had, the kind of work that he had. I mean, the man lied about everything. So it's important to have discernment when we're starting new relationships. I know more and more these days people are on online dating, so be weird, be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I thought was really interesting was just how everyone connected with it, and it went really, really viral, not only on TikTok but on social media, on YouTube, of people, of just like people connecting with this woman's story. And it had me thinking about how there is some magic there about sharing your experiences. You never know who can, relate, who can find some kind of solace or feel seen by your story. And I know a lot of musicians have a hard time with social media and TikTok. It can feel like a drag. But that kind of provided an insight of, maybe this is another way we can interact with social media. It doesn't mean that we're like on TikTok, like playing like bebop solos or
Right.
like transcribing Charlie Parker stuff. Maybe we're just sharing about our experiences being an artist.
That's a good point. Because we don't really see the personal sides of people in jazz specifically, unless they talk
Mm-hmm.
about it in their music,
Right.
or it's a personal connection. Every people
Yes.
talking amongst themselves. So
Right.
it's hard. It is hard to do that in the jazz community because there's so many stigmas. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of things that'll tear you down that will blacklist you or shun
Yep.
you from saying anything out loud or being any type of way. But
Mm-hmm.
as time goes on, those things are changing because society is. But jazz is a little bit behind on things
I think so.
over the past, I'd say, since maybe like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for jazz, respectability politics is still really big. You can see pockets of where people are kind of like challenging that.
Yeah.
But like whereas like in hip hop and R&B and pop music, like respectability is like it's the total extreme. Like
Yeah.
like
I mean, it's so academic, jazz.
it's so
It's
academic.
highly, highly, highly academic. So to do
Yeah.
anything outside of academia is kind of frowned upon. But
Yeah.
that's why we here.
That's why we here,
That's why we're here.
and I do feel like I'm in a moment of a breakthrough in my life when it comes to like how I want to be perceived by certain bookers or venues or institutions. Now more than ever, I'm so like generally sort of like over it. It as in everything that's going on in the world and in life and all that stuff, that I don't have the capacity anymore to be concerned with like if
That
you
part.
agree with my opinion or whatever. I'm like, bruh, this is where it is. Either you with it or you not.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I am who I am, and it doesn't
You
matter
know?
what you have to say. There's a duality about me.
Yeah.
There's all things exist at once. I'm a
Hmm.
black woman that lives in uh what century are we in? I don't know.
What's it, the
In the
22nd? We're not
20s.
in 22nd
No, we're
yet. We
still in
still
the 21st
21.
century right
Yeah, we
now.
still 21. I feel like we in the 29.
I know, right? I'm a black woman living in the 21st century, and this is what it is amongst AI, amongst social media,
Yeah.
amongst all different types of genres, because I identify with those as well, not just
Hmm.
one genre of music, which can always be said. But I think we proudly say, like, I am jazz. There's been times where I get frustrated with the communal identity of jazz,
How so? What
where
you mean?
I'm like, I'm not jazz because I'm tired of the perceived highest academia standard
Right.
um that forces me to be one-sided. I'm not one-sided.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting because I think we're both like championing of the idea of like we are interested in exploring different ways of and different definitions of what jazz or Black American music means. Even though we are of that mind, our conditioning is still like that's
Ooh,
years of
of
that type of way of thinking.
yes, exactly. We've even had conversations where I've been like, I'm not jazz anymore. I'm not
I
doing
know, and I'm
jazz.
like, "Me, girl."
But you know what? It's part, and I've thought about that ever since I said that out loud to you.
Mhm,
I'm like,
mhm.
no, I am jazz. I've always been jazz. It's
Yeah.
not how the the critics or the institutions, they're not defining me. They're not defining the music.
Yeah,
We are.
we are. And I think part of like what's helping for us to sit in that more is that we see the realities of that. We see how more and more these major institutions are so like have lost touch. And we see how people are seeking like certain types of artists and certain types of musical experiences and put value and put time into
Mm-hmm.
engaging with certain types of music, that more and more we're realizing, oh, all of this has been like a smoke show. Like it's like The Wiz, you know what I mean? Like all of
Yeah.
this has been like a lie, you know? Like y'all really don't have that much power as y'all wanted to make us think y'all do. Like if you don't like how I'm moving, I'm going to be okay actually.
Yes.
I probably will be better off. You know?
Exactly. You can't, artists, you cannot think about getting the gig too much and what you need to do to get
Yeah.
the gig. That
Yeah.
is the worst way to think. You
Yes. Yeah.
have to be yourself. You have to follow the music
Yeah.
wherever that takes you.
Yeah,
Do not
absolutely.
follow the institution. Follow
Yeah,
the music.
follow the music.
Follow yourself. Follow God. Follow
Mm,
whatever it is that is the purest form.
mhm,
Got to hold
mhm.
on to that.
I'm reading right now The Artist Way. Um, Shout out to my girl Madison McFerrin. She gifted it to me years ago, and like I read a few
Oh,
pages and then I stopped. But I'm
say it one more
back.
time.
The Artist Way. It's written by Julia Cameron. Um, have you read it, Uni?
No, I need to read that. The
Okay, oh my God.
artist. I'm writing this down.
The Artist
Way.
Way. Oh my God. Uni.
Julia
Julia Cameron.
Cameron. You're welcome, listeners. I know they're writing this down with me.
Yes. Uni, it would be so perfect for you because it's actually focused to people like you, how you're a musician, but you also like work behind the scenes and you
Mm-hmm.
curate, you produce, you do all those things. And at least I think from my experience of you is that for a window of time, you weren't nurturing your artist. You were
Yeah.
focusing more on the other things. And so this is what this book is about. It's like awakening that artist within us. Even people who maybe consider themselves working artists, there's still another level of connection that we could get with our artistry. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this book has been really speaking to me. There's one quote that I wrote down on my desk. She said, "The universe falls in what I read. The universe is worthy plans and falls in with worthy plans, and most especially with festive and expansive ones." The
Ooh.
universe falls in with worthy plans and most especially with festive and expansive ones. So, whatever musically creative ideas we want, maybe it's not jazz enough. Maybe it's not, you know, pristine mixed perfectly. Maybe it's an idea that's not completely thought out. The truth is that if it's worthy and as crazy and festive as it is, honestly, if we put energy into it, the universe conspires to help us make it happen. Isn't that such a nice like thing to like think
Mm-hmm.
of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, I was looking through a notebook yesterday before rehearsal. I was writing down some lyrics to help remember.
Mhm.
And I was going through the notebook, and I saw on the other page there was I could see this pink post-it note on it.
Mm.
And I turned it, and in it said, I will update my resume and I will get a job that I love. And then I wrote down the specific salary.
And are you doing it?
yes.
Yes, Yunie.
That I was just like, what? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
That's just like a reminder. I got to get
When
back
did you write
to.
that down?
I wrote that down 2 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe,
Wow.
maybe even three. It must have been like 2020, 2021. Yeah.
Wow. And you got the salary that you wanted the next year, right? 22.
The next year, and then it wasn't quite that salary, and then
Mhm. It got
the
there.
next year I got there, and I'm at where I'm at now.
Yes. Come on, boss girl. Yes.
Period. So I say all
Yes,
that to say
Missy.
is
Mhm.
to emphasize everything you just said
Mm.
with conspiring,
Mhm. Mhm.
being inspired, and
Mhm.
you have to write things down.
You have to write things down.
You have to pray for them. You have
Yeah.
to envision. You have to dream big. Sometimes you can't see it, but you have to at least have some type of vision, whether that's
Yeah.
God giving that vision, if you're a believer,
Mhm.
or just there's something inside of you that you just need to, by any means necessary, pull out. And
Yeah.
journaling and
Yeah.
does a lot of that.
Uni, this book is the book for your life because, like, one of the practices she gives you, like, things to do is morning pages, and you have to write 3 pages every morning. And she's like, that's like no non-negotiable. You have to sit down every morning and do that. So my ass was up at 8:30 on my desk writing my 3 pages. Girl was sleeping my eyes, but I did it, and I felt so good and felt so inspired, and like all these things that I knew I had to do, like. But I didn't know how, like a lot of answers came to me,
Mm,
you know? And she
yes.
also talks about the concept of God. Like maybe it's not traditionally a Christian God in your mind. Maybe it's the universe, whatever, like higher power. So shout out to Julia Cameron for a great book. I'm sure many of our listeners are already familiar with it, but if
Mhm.
not, please get into it.
I will be putting
No,
the links in the description. And
yes, please
we
do.
we've had a book every episode so far.
Because we be reading, we smart girls or whatever.
We be doing stuff.
You know? Well, I feel like we're just about at the halfway point, and I think this is a great time for Unimo's Sports Minute. Da, da, da.
Dun, 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 dun,
Du,
dun,
du,
dun,
du,
dun,
du, 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 du.
Hey.
So what's going
So
on?
what's going on right now in basketball? We're back from the All-Star break. All-Star game was terrible.
Mhm.
There's been lots of talk about why it's been terrible. In the past, the athletes tend to have cared about the All-Star game to the
Mhm.
point where they were being very competitive. They had heavy defense.
Yep.
They were going for it. And you were
Mhm.
seeing the best players in the league either join forces or go head to head.
Mhm.
East versus West. They've tried a lot of things in the past. They had maybe a year or two ago, it was LeBron as the representing the West, and man, I can't remember his name. He was on the Brooklyn Nets, and then he got traded to the
Oh, it was
Suns.
KD.
KD, yes, and thank you,
Yes.
and KD, and then they
Mhm.
chose their players, and that was a
Yep.
little weird in my opinion.
It was weird.
So then they switched back to the paradigm of East versus West, and they
Mm.
didn't care. It was an extremely high score game, no defense. Everyone was just shooting, lollygagging, goofing off.
What are they talking about? What are they saying is the reason why people don't like they lost the heart for the sport or something?
They
Like
lost.
just
They
overall
lost the
the
heart
morale is low?
for the All Star game in particular. I think it's because one. This reason is because they want to not get injured. Because after the All Star break, then
It's back to a real
it's
shit.
back to the real shit, and then we're leading into the playoffs. and the finals. So that's what is most important to them. They don't want to get injured. And injuries are heavy at this time. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then there's money. Money is also the conversation, which they get paid a lot of money.
So
And
what's the money issue?
the the NBA, I believe, um I guess they want to incentivize the players to play in the All-Star game, so they might have to put money towards it, which is they already put in the in-season tournament from the beginning of the season to incentivize the players and the fans, and it worked. They were definitely playing more aggressively in the beginning of the season, which was good to see. But then now, are they going to have to throw more money in for the All-Star game? I don't know. But I don't know. They don't care. It's
Wow.
kind of whack. It's like not enjoyable for the fans.
Wow.
This is different. The NBA is different. We got a lot
The
of
NBA is different.
soft players. The way the refs are calling the games, defense. This is light. They
Mhm.
can't.
Mhm.
Everything is fouled. People draw fouls more now these days, which we've been seeing over the
Mhm.
past few
Yes,
years.
yeah, the last time Zach and I sat courtside a few weeks ago at the Brooklyn Nets, I can't remember who they were playing against. We noticed that, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like, you just threw yourself on the ground."
Yo, and then the dramatics, like who's
It's
getting the
so
Academy Award,
dramatic.
like,
I
ah.
know. It's true, and I must say, like, I'm not trying to body shame, but the players didn't seem, like, fit. Like I don't I wonder if
Like, bro,
they're,
they're not
like
brolic.
yeah, you don't have to be brolic to be fit, but, like, you it just they're very scrawny, but even that's okay, I'm not saying you need to have muscles, but, like, I'm questioning people's stamina, you know what I
No, I
mean?
mean
And
we came up watching basketball in like the '90s,
you know how people were moving, like, it was such a dynamic way of
mm-hmm.
playing, but I kinda feel like we sound like old school jazz heads, like, "Cats ain't playing like they used to no
They
more, man.
ain't
They're
playing the
not hitting the
changes.
changes."
Yeah, they're not playing the changes. They don't know no tunes. They're
You
not stand.
know?
Nobody goes to the jam sessions.
You
It's
know?
different now. Yeah, it is
It's the
different.
same kinda thing, and, you know, I don't know, I feel kinda dark. I was telling my therapist that I feel like I'm just my default is so dark these days, but I feel like that's kind of the way of the world somehow. It's like it comes in cycles of, like there's, like, a wave of, like, high quality performance, whether it's, I
Mm-hmm.
remember there was a time in jazz schools, like, all the killing kids were in jazz school, and, like, that's where that was really exciting, like, who was coming out of where. I feel
Yes.
like that's done, like, I don't think you're meeting killing musicians at, like, new school as frequently or any of these no shade to them, no shade to
No,
the school,
yeah,
no
I
shade
think
to any students right now,
Yeah, I think
but
well, I think it has a lot to do with the pandemic, and I'm not going to the jam sessions these days, so
right,
I don't. That's where you see the youth and who,
now,
yeah,
yeah,
and that's how it was then too. And then you would hear about different drummers and things like that, and then some people would have new drummers on their gigs, and then you'd see the youth in those spaces and places because the elders were always trying to get young people. So we would see it in those ways.
right,
So, but there's not as many elders around. So
right,
we're going to see them show up in institutions, I think,
more so,
more
yes.
because they want to book more young people. And there's also a lot of students from Juilliard usually sound really, really good. And that's where a lot of students are gravitating towards these days.
I don't think I'm talking
That
about, like I'm sure their students are sounding good, like, I didn't mean I'm not trying to say that people aren't sounding good.
No,
I'm saying the energy
yeah.
surrounding, like, oh, like,
It's not as hard. I don't get
there's a
that hard
wave
hitting
of
aggression that we used to have.
yeah, come
People want to
on,
cut each
man.
other like, yo, I sound better than you. Like you, like that. Yeah, I don't get that
Y
energy as much anymore.
yes, but also just, like, the overall, I think now, like, we're talking about, who won the Sarah Vaughan competition is up next, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
who's up for Grammys, like, but like when it comes to like communal places, and you're right, maybe it is the pandemic, because even in jam session culture, there were a lot of elders, you're right, that were at the jams, and I think like, and not even that old. Like, let's
Mm-hmm.
say if we were in our 20s, people in their mid 30s were there that we looked up to, and like that was part of why you went to the jam session, because you want to hear them, you want to be heard, you know what I mean? You want to
Yeah.
learn, you want to potentially grab a gig. Now, because of the pandemic, cats are like, "Bruh, I'm staying home." So now it's like it's just a whole bunch of like young musicians who are great and learning and trying, but it's almost like no guidance. I kind of felt that way once Roy passed away.
Yes, yes. I agree with that too. I also noticed that when we were coming up, there were people we would travel in packs together.
Mhm. Yes.
And you knew when people from Hartford were around.
Yes.
You knew when
Yes.
people from DC were
You know
around.
what I'm
You
saying?
know,
Like,
people from Philly
yeah.
would show up together. People from
Yes.
Jersey. I think Jersey kind of still has it because of Jazz House Kids. And
Mm,
there's still a solid community out there in Jersey
mhm.
in
Shout out
particular.
to Jazz House Kids.
Hmm. And then, yeah, I'm not seeing as many, yeah, the youth traveling packs to see somebody play. We would all show up
Right.
together at to Roy's gig. We would all show up
Right.
together
To
at
see Glasper,
exactly.
like that's not part of the culture right now. Who knows? Maybe in a number of years that might turn around. We might have a turning of the tides. But, just you speaking about All Star, and like just the energy around it, it does really sound very familiar in terms of like what's going on in Black American music, jazz music. So
Yeah, I
let's
would love
see.
to
Let's
hear
see.
from you guys. I don't. We don't. Y'all are quiet. We want to know. We want to hear from you. I don't know. Are you hearing from anyone about the podcast about like questions, Mel?
Um, no, that's interesting. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, I think we need to do some kind of like format where we get more feedback from people.
Mm-hmm.
I know like when I run into people, they're like, oh, we're listening, we love the podcast, and I'm always surprised people are actually listening. But I would definitely love feedback
Yeah,
too.
I'll say
Yeah,
definitely get in the comments when we post.
yeah.
Give us feedback on. I'd like, for example, I'd love to know if you have any idea of where the youth are. Are they traveling in
Mhm,
packs? Who they're going to see? Who y'all are checking out?
mhm,
If you're a young person who's under 25 or under 30,
mhm, mhm.
let us know who you are. Tell us
Yeah.
who you're checking out, who you want to
Mhm,
see live, all of that
mhm.
stuff. What jam sessions you're going to,
Yep.
and then we can share that so more people can show up and see you as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of young people, Sean Mason, incredible pianist. He's relatively young. He's younger than me. He's younger than Mo, but
Me too.
um, he put out a beautiful track this week called "If We Praise, We Are Beautiful" with Mahogany Brown, and it's such a beautiful song, such a beautiful tune, and perfect for Black History Month. So, if you guys are looking for some new sounds, make sure you check that out. And also my girl Stout, shout out to Stout. If anyone knows me, you know how obsessed I am with Stout. She just released a single called, or is that her album? Trigger. Yes. Yes. So I think she just dropped a single from there. So make sure you guys tap into Stout. She's one of the greatest vocalists out here right now in these music streets. If you guys are not me forgetting his name, Corey Henry. If you guys are Corey Henry fans, you've probably seen her singing with him. Um, and Corey Henry also just a few days ago, or maybe two weeks, he released a single too that's very gospel leaning. We all know he has that gospel energy, but this
Yes.
last track he really went deep in on that, and that was interesting to listen. So yeah, is there some music that you've been checking out, Uni, or that you notice is out
I
recently?
have been practicing for my gig.
Mm.
So I've been deep in some of the music that I'm doing for that. But I would say just going back to my roots of Jackie McLean, you know?
Yeah, you're doing some Jackie McLean tunes at your gig on Wednesday, right?
I was, but now I'm not. I know
Okay.
this sounds strange that even though I just said, but I've been listening to his music because his sound is so deeply ingrained in
Yes.
me. But
Yes.
and I'm also listening to the songs that I'm doing, so I'm interpreting some of those things with
Yes.
that Hartford foundation.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So if you guys haven't checked out um, the album Jackie Mac Attack Live, that one in particular is really great.
Is that one that his son is playing flute on?
No, but no, that's the Dynasty album where he's playing flute on it.
So
Yeah.
killing. I had no idea about his son.
Yes. Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but I'm not going to tell you the other songs that I'm doing. So,
Okay.
hopefully this is not going to come out
Yeah, I
before the
wish it was so
gig. I wish
people
it
would
was.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, it's okay if you guys are missing this. Uni's gonna be playing at 333 Lounge on Wednesday with her band, and I'm really excited about that. But it's okay because she's gonna be playing more because she's digging more and more deeply into her artistry. So
Yes.
there's gonna be a next
Oh
time.
yeah, I got plans for y'all. And when I have a plan, I
Hmm.
actually go through with it. So,
Yes, you do.
I got a
Yes, you
solid
do.
plan. Period.
Um, yeah. I don't know. I'll be at PDX Jazz Fest on March 1st. Maybe the episode is going up that day. And then March 3rd, I'll be at SF Jazz for Noise Pop. And then March 18th, I'm playing at the Blue Note. I'm really excited about it. I'm doing new music. I'm going to be releasing a single next week that I'm really excited about. It's the one that I
Ooh,
kind of played for you, Uni.
yes.
Yes, we're doing some final mixing and mastering and, doing the whole playlist thing. Ugh, we should do an episode about just like on the process of releasing music in 2024. Maybe that's a cool topic.
That is a cool topic
Um,
because I need to understand that more too.
there's so many elements, and now I'm independent. I'm actually shopping the album around, looking for a label. My last album, I had a deal, so like it was a different process. Once I got around to making the music, now I've already started the music, and now I'm looking for the label. And as I'm releasing singles here and there, I'm doing the playlist search and all that. So anyway, it's
Mm-hmm.
been an interesting journey, and yeah, I think that's something that we could dig into some
I
more
think
in the
that's
future.
something that people, well, there's a lot of secrets.
There's a
There's a
lot of
lot of
secrets.
secrets. There's a lot of
There
things that
are.
took a long time for me to find out. And when you find out, you're like,
Yeah,
what? I didn't know that.
it's
Always.
true. And I think the spirit of tokenism in jazz is why there's so many secrets because it's like, okay, there's only one person, so I better not share my secrets. But we don't need to
Hmm.
live by that anymore.
And gatekeep.
Gatekeep. Yeah, that's not cool. No more
Hmm.
gatekeeping. So guys, I think that it's time for us to wrap up this combo. Um, we hope you guys enjoyed the topics that we shared with you. Make sure you check out Sean Mason and Stout and stay posted on Uni's next performances. Hopefully I see you guys at PDX or SF Jazz.
And
Um mhm.
Lady Moon in the Eclipse, March
Yes.
21st.
Yes, thank you so much, Uni. Good point. Make Jazz Chill Again will be hosting Uni Mo and the Eclipse at Sultan Room. Lady Moon Eclipse is one of my favorite bands. They're like
Hmm.
world soul, like jazz music, and they sound amazing and they look amazing. The lead vocalist, Gunda, Lady Moon, she designs all of the costumes, and it's just such a
It is
spectacular,
so beautiful, and their
so
voices are
beautiful.
amazing. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a great show. Zach and I are gonna be hosting. It's gonna be a good time.
Yes, it's gonna be fun. So make sure you guys come out on March 21st at Sultan Room. Oh, and then Make Jazz Chill Again is also presenting them at Silk City in Philadelphia. So any Philadelphia listeners, March 28th, come through. It's going to end with a jam session, actually, after the Lady Moon and Eclipse
Oh,
performance. So bring your horn, bring your instruments, and come to have a good time.
yes. And when's our next Trill Jam in New York? We
Well,
got to figure that out.
we got to figure it out. We were talking about maybe in the summer. What do you guys think about doing it at the end of the summer? Let us know.
In the
Yeah.
comments.
In the comments. Yeah, man. Well, I'm really proud of us for pushing through today. We both had a really long day and we came together and we made it happen anyway. Like we said earlier, we're going to be better and more consistent. Thank you so much to all our listeners for supporting us, for sharing the episodes with your friends and stuff. Please continue to do so. And on that note, whatever you do,
Remember to make
make
jazz
jazz
true
trill
again.
again.
Do, 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 do.